Any other team wins the World Series, good for them. They're drinking champagne, they get a ring. But if we win, on our budget with this team, we'll change the game.
Moneyball is a movie about challenging conventional wisdom. It needed the passion of one of Hollywood's brightest stars to make this film. It has been nominated for 6 Academy Awards. One of those nominees, actor and producer Brad Pitt, is with us. I am pleased to have him at CBS This Morning. Welcome.
Thanks, Charlie.
This is a story of obsession for you.
Mm-hmm.
What was it?
It was a story of an obsessive character, and I was obsessive about getting it to the screen. And it was this idea of value and our self-worth and how it is often tabulated by a failure. And you look at the Billy Bean character, he'd been completely devalued by his sport. He was playing for a small market team and had to rethink the game and had to question why we've been doing the things we do for so long. And in doing so, found this whole talent pool of other people who've been devalued, and they started winning games. And they got a second chance, and they started winning games. And I thought there was a story worth telling now about success and failure.
You felt a kinship with him.
Yes, definitely. Yes, he was emotional about the games. He couldn't even watch the games. Yeah. He didn't want to cloud his thinking. I understand that to some degree. There were just attributes about him and this push and this need to make things fair, to find a level playing field. If we're going to compete, let's make it fair. And I'm a bit of a justice nut.
And going against the odds and the perceptions. Here at this television program, which is now in its 4th or 5th week, we showed it to the staff at the beginning, just to say, here's the story of somebody going against the odds and against expectations and against conventional wisdom.
And that you can actually win in unconventional ways.
Yeah. And it didn't go well for him at the beginning.
No, he was labeled a heretic, a fool, until they started turning it around and started winning.
When you moving to your own life, family has meant what to you? I know as you find yourself at a career that has evolved, what has the family added to it?
Family's added everything to it. In a strange way, if I look at the work has gotten better because I worry less about it. I mean, it's not as important as family. Family becomes the nucleus, becomes the source of joy and the source of worry. And it takes any pressure of self-absorption we can have in our business. It just evaporates. And so it makes it freer. And
it also, I assume, makes the performance when you're on stage more intense because you know you have less time, and so there's more intensity.
That's right.
To make it work.
We got to get on. I got to get the kids.
This will not be 20 takes. This will be 10 takes.
That's right. And we're going to get it right. We're going to get it right now and let the chips fall where they may.
If you hadn't adopted and had children, it would have been a far different life.
It would have certainly been
for you and for them.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I don't know that they would. I hesitate to say it.
Might not have lived,
but may not be here. And I think of the joy that we have in our family because we are together. I couldn't imagine it.
All right. I want you to take a look at this. This is a clip that Angelina did for 60 Minutes on a conversation with Bob Simon. Here it is, because it reflects, I think, a philosophy. Roll tape.
You used to be a pretty bad girl. Now you are a UN ambassador. You are a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. Mm-hmm. You're a humanitarian activist. Do you ever miss being a bad girl?
I'm still a bad girl.
Yeah?
You know, I still have that side of me that it's in its place now. It belongs. It belongs to Brad, or it belongs to our adventures.
There is a kind of attitude.
She's still a bad girl.
She is a bad girl?
Yeah.
In what way?
Delightfully so. Yeah. Well, it's not for public consumption.
Yeah. I'm struck by the fact that you two have this dual career. When she's making a film, you're with her. When you're making a film or promoting a film, she's with you.
And they're with us.
And they're together, and the kids both all there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
And is that easy for them, or is that difficult for them, or like the idea?
Well, they're quite used to a bit of jet lag and moving to a new location, and we, you know, as long as we're together, so the home's always intact.
They take their own blankets with them?
They got to pack their own bags, and they're responsible if they leave their chargers behind, and so on and so forth.
You also have been a person who has taken an interest in the living conditions of people in New Orleans after Katrina, you know, with your own passion for architecture. How is that going?
I keep saying this, it keeps exceeding my expectations. You know, we got in there as a justice issue at a rage, that people were put in a dangerous situation, living behind inadequately built walls, told they could live there and build on a slab, and people were killed because of it. And we felt a need to make that right, to just do it right the first time, so we won't suffer from these kinds of catastrophes, and by the way, it's a lot cheaper.
The project is to redefine low-income housing in a way that has what?
That is built sustainably and at a competitive price. I mean, you talk about a game changer, I think that's a game changer. Mm-hmm. And it's time for us to, we've learned so much on this project, to build other nucleuses around, because, I mean, this is where we got to go.
You've been to the White House, you know the president, you support the president.
I wouldn't say I know him. I've been able to meet him.
You've had a conversation with him.
And yes, I am absolutely a supporter.
Is there a role for the federal government here?
Well, you know, HUD helped us out a lot. HUD is doing some great things in this direction, but I think it's got to be the NASA program. Let's just make the shift. Why are we still paying, you know, exporting so much of our GDP, $500 billion to support this dependency on oil? Why are we still fighting it with our military? Why are we still polluting the environment? It just makes no sense for us anymore.
But do you have those kinds of conversations with politicians as well as with friends?
Yes, I had a great conversation about it a few weeks ago with the Vice President, actually.
Yeah. And he's responsive to the idea.
Very much so.
Yeah. Hey, so if someone said tomorrow you got to give up acting, that would be a hard day for you.
Yes, it would, because I am on the producerial side now. I'm developing stories that I think resonate with our time in some way, and I feel like I'm now more than ever clear about what I can add to this great art of storytelling.
Do you see a role model that represents the kind of life that you would like to have? I mean, if you look at the kind of life that Paul Newman had, he both was an actor at the same time. He had these passions away from film, racing. He also, in a sense, had an evolution in terms of the kinds of roles he wanted to do.
Yeah, I think we could learn a lot from his example, and if I get anywhere near that, I'd be pretty satisfied.
There was one thing that I found amazing as I looked at the thing about you. It was the notion, speaking of politics, that Newt Gingrich may not be the first person said, if there was somebody to play my life, I would like for it to be Brad Pitt.
Really? I just insulted him last week in an interview. I think you can move on to someone else now.
All right. Thank you again.
Okay.
Brad.